This is Gabriel Garcia Marquez's 100 Years of Solitude, and I'm Brian Flores-Rosario. Can I start off by saying that this book is quite confusing, but still a great read. This book is a microcosm in the town of Macondo that, well, it's a microcosm of the civil wars and the destruction that's going on outside of Macondo, in which is near Colombia, according to Gabriel. Well, he emphasizes the role of a kind of head figure in the family. The family that founded the town, it's a small town, is the Buendias, and they kind of have power shifts every now and again. Their children leave, come, go. Incest happens rampantly. It's kind of chaotic. And at some point, Ursula, the mother of the family, takes control because she kind of, let's say, she exiles her husband. Yes, it's kind of crazy, but she does. She exiles him to a post, ties him to a post, and leaves him there for, I mean, we don't find out about his death tied to the post until maybe 8 or 9 chapters in. It's quite interesting, the changes in power that happen throughout the book, civil wars, governments, everything. Let's move on to the next topic. The author, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, was born in a really small town outside of Colombia, which is ironic and also implicative of his stature to Macondo. In fact, they are both small towns. And another important background check on him is that his uncle was a colonel. And in the story, one of the sons becomes a colonel and it gets shot by a firing squad. So these 2 points are very keen to the development of the story. Also, as you may know, he's a very influential Spanish writer. And well, that's Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Foster Eyes. The town Macondo was founded by this family, but every house in the town is the exact same. Every single town is the exact same, giving it a utopian feel of equality. Also, let's see, on page 12 here, says, since his house from the very first had been the best in the village, the others had been built in its image and likeness. Every single one has the same feel. Also, every house has a garden, which is another theme that is implied, which is the theme of it's a Garden of Eden sort of feel, because the Jose Arcadio, the patriarch of the family, he has a diverse and very longing want for knowledge. He spends his days and days in his laboratory trying to do alchemist work, working on gold, working on everything. He's very dedicated to his thirst of knowledge. Also, let's say there are a bunch of gypsies, they call them gypsies, that come to the town and give them kind of prizes, not really prizes, but they show them innovations that are happening outside of their secluded little town. And when I read this, I got a feeling that these gypsies were sort of like gods, because they are very different than what the other people are like. They have beards. They are very different in their demeanor and also in the way that they hold themselves. One of them, specifically Melquiades, he gives Jose Arcadia the initial thirst. He gives him the inkling of, hey, there's more to life than whatever. And from then on, this inkling, this suggestion that this seclusion is bad, Jose Arcadia grabbed it and just flew rampantly on it. Also, the son of the family, they have 2 sons. The son of the family, they explain him as being enormous. and enormous also in strength. His strength alone, he could do the work of maybe 11 men. Specifically says in the story. He he has big size. He's just huge. I'll just say this. And all the girls are after him. He's a very lady. He's a very lady killer. Yes. And well, he he from the text has a kind of feel of Hercules, the mythological Greek Greek super demigod that is just beyond power, which gives us also a question of if he is Hercules, then and Hercules was a demigod, then who was the god in the family? Ursula the mom, or Jose Arcadio the dad? Characterization, which by my reading seems to be the very utmost literary element, is characterization. There are a ton. You have to, like I did. You have to write down the names at the beginning. Write down who they are, or else you will get completely lost. Each person serves a different, completely, utterly different purpose in the story. From one of the sons being a dictator at some point to another being kind of calm and just relaxed. And then it is 100 years, so generations upon generations of the same names makes it completely enigmatic, and you have to kind of figure out the puzzle yourself. Who did this? Who did that? And just figure it out. Characterization is key in this story. The literary scale on this book is tremendously high. Let's say I'd give it a 12 if I could, because of all the references to a bunch of different things. He references his past books. The intertextuality of his work is really outstanding. So I'd give it, if I could, I would give it like an 11, 12, but 10, because the highest, yes. And, well, also the readability. Unfortunately, the readability is quite low. I would give it maybe a 2, 3. This book is insanely tough to read. I had to spark note a bunch of stuff. I didn't know what he was saying half the time. This book was originally written in Spanish, in kind of Indian, rougher Spanish that he's accustomed to writing in and speaking. So when it was translated, it was still translated roughly. But anyway, it is still quite the translation makes it tough. But yeah, the literary is all there. Just a matter of getting yourself to read through it. Just keep going. And hey, if you want a tough book, and at the end you'll feel very accomplished at the end of this book if you read it. You will feel like you just ran a marathon, because this I feel pretty I feel pretty great about reading it, because at the end of the day, you read a very influential book of a bunch of people in South America. Gabriel Garcia Marquez is one of the most influential writers of our time. And I mean, anything that he writes would literally just suffice. But still, this book, great book. I'd recommend it to anyone that's looking for a tough read. I mean, you know what you guys can read. So, yes.